feel. You feel me?
Yeah, they do.
You understand me? Right.
But like you was speaking on before we went on, and everybody, we back on live stream. Hopefully that y'all get the notifications resent out. You know, had to end the one with old school kind of early, but we back on live with King Righteous. Matter of fact, we're gonna have something that comes out later in video format that y'all get to peep out. But we were speaking earlier on, basically one trick ponies. People that you know are only good at one particular thing, so they proclaim to be.
Right.
And basically, how you saying how it was with you, when you actually went cross country, how that form of it, it was 100 caliber with you at that particular time with it.
I mean, when I took it to the road, man, and I wasn't mixing it up, mixing this game up like peanut butter and jelly. It was just straight butter. When I went cross country, had the right connection. I had a snow bunny. She had the right complexion for the connection. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I understood the politics of the game.
Right.
You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
That when you're out here in this world, you see that snow bunny is undetected. See, because of her complexion. She's privileged, what we call white privilege.
Right.
You feel me? So I knew it was easier for me to capitalize off of her more so than it would be the sisters, because the sisters was going to catch more attention, because of their complexion. You feel me? So because we're more targeted than than the snow bunnies.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when I went on the road, that was one thing I didn't have to worry about. Like if she out there, I know there's things she may do or places she may be, she was gonna get passes because she was a Caucasian.
Right.
You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So I understood that off top just by being raised in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I knew that, hey, these white folks, in that sense, was privileged in a lot of ways. You know what I'm saying? So it was real. It was real. And I just, set the bunny out and let it out. Real tough.
Now break into, the type that you were saying, some people, they claim they were full-fledged, but actually, probably just had they baby mamas or whatever, and on that type of a level.
Well, there's a lot of guys out here claiming, they basketball stars, but they ain't nothing but, football players, you know what I'm saying? So, guys might be claiming to be in this game or be 100% pimping, but they really ain't pimping. They just, rest havens.
Okay.
Yeah, they got
the babysitter.
They girlfriend pimping.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Baby mama pimping.
Yeah.
That type of shit. They ain't no real, stomp down pimping. It's just, that's my baby mama, and she just selling some pussy.
Yeah. I might got her hooked on some of them things.
On some drugs and whatnot, and she just doing what she got to do, but just really my baby mama. So,
while I'm still going to work doing whatever.
While I'm still, punching the clock or whatever the case may be.
Right.
But real pimping is, man, when you ain't got no sack, you ain't got no pistol, you ain't out here robbing nobody, you ain't selling no dope. You know what I'm saying? And it's all AOB, like we used to say, all on the bitch. You know what I'm saying? That was pimping, it was all on the woman, man. That was your check. That's what a real pimp is about, as far as that, giving her the proper instructions so she can make the proper production. Telling her to put it in your pocket. You know what I'm saying? That was straight pimping. She goes, put her roller skates on and skate, all we did was rest, dress, and finesse, and let her do the rest. That's what's pimping. That's what we consider pimping. My book. So
now you were speaking. We're not gonna add the other part, but as far as these one trick ponies, people who try to paint people as only being a certain way when they're way much more greater than that.
Right.
They're way more expanded than just professing the one area of whatever particular game.
Right. They, like I said, these cats is stuck on one level of the game. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's cats that, play football and play all different positions. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you just a punter, you just a punter.
Right.
That's what a lot of cats is, but they claim they the top. top-notch player,
Right.
you know, on the squad, but they just the punter. But then you got some cats that play offense and defense. You feel me? Star wide receiver and you know, defensive back. You know what I'm saying? So come on now. See, I mean, cats just gotta, you know, quit just being stuck on one thing and elevate their game. You know.
Yeah, it kind of comes out too when they try to go into a different area, they really can't speak on certain things because, you know, that's not their bag, that's not their area to speak on.
They don't have the know-how. They don't know about that. You can't speak on something you don't know about. You know what I'm saying? It's like a rocket scientist or a wino trying to speak on astrophysics. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You can't do it, man. And especially if you ain't learned it or don't know it. So come on, it's just like you just gotta be true to the game, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I don't really speak on. I can't speak on some things I don't know nothing about. You know, but what I've experienced in my lifetime, you know, I speak on because I've experienced it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I've been around people of like-minded. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, because when the last few ones when you say you actually met with Khalid before, you know, you was with the nation, you could speak on a lot of areas of that,
man,
you know, and certain things about that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I think that's where me and, you know, my man Ken, you know, where we click, you know,
right.
Because intellectually, he like, man, I could speak to him on these things. You know, he's, you know, who he is. It's like, so when we start to speak on intellectual things, certain things like religion, politics, he like, man, this young brother, I'm younger than him. So he like, this young brother got, you know, this intellect. So we communicate.
Right.
Because if I couldn't communicate on things, he couldn't relate to what I was saying, he wouldn't be on the phone with me. And you know that.
Right.
You feel me? So that is real. You know what I'm saying? So if I could say certain things to make him respond, you know, for 10, 15, 20 minutes to a certain thing I threw out there, then that means intellectually he can relate to what I'm talking about.
Right.
You feel me? And vice versa. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm not just stuck on one level or one dimensional where I can't even comprehend what he's talking about. You know
right, right.
You know, so it's real. It's real, you know. So we ain't just talking about pimping on man, hoe, man, the bitch of this and that, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, no, we ain't just talking. That's that base level.
Right.
Man, that's elementary, though.
But I gotta play the devil's advocate because you know some out there will pimping encompasses everything within the world. You can't just say it's just one dimensional. You know, you got those types that got that kind of thinking like
that's
that.
just like you just saying Google Gaga, like a baby. You don't know no other words. It's like Google Mama. Don't know nothing else.
Right.
Mama, Dada. That's what you mean when you're saying it's everything pimping. No, that's just a word, man. You know what I'm saying? It has a definition, but that doesn't define everything. Okay? It doesn't define gangsterism. It doesn't define macking. It doesn't define just hustling. You know what I'm saying? No, it doesn't define everything. It's a terminology for the word. It's really a real pimp is someone who solicit a person for profit.
Right.
Yeah, that's what a real.
In actuality, if you ain't got any kind of prostitute, you're not a pimp.
You're not a pimp. Exactly. That's my point. So you need to look up the root definition of this word, then you understand what we're saying. You know what I'm saying? That's like if I was speaking, you know, Spanish or some foreign language. If you didn't understand what I was talking about, then you don't even gonna understand the meaning of the word. So yeah, look up the root definition of the word. That's a pimp is someone who solicits a woman for profit. So if you're not doing that, you know what I'm saying? If you're working at McDonald's, Burger King, or you know, if you're shining shoes, or you know, or working at a laundromat, you're not pimping.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You got a job, you know what I'm saying?
So essentially you're getting favors.
Exactly. So, you know, so we gotta quit using that word so loosely. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's what got a lot of the generation misguided.
Got a lot of niggas in prison.
That too. Yeah, that's the major one right there.
Because they talking about they pimping. Okay. So you gotta quit misguiding the youth. You know, I'm gonna say that. You know, as far as you know, if young cats is listening to this type of rhetoric, then it's like really you're misguiding them. So basically saying this is what they have to do. Right. And no, they don't.
And actually, I say it like this: they can actually build a case on you if you're trying to teach someone how to do that.
Yeah, we know this.
Right.
You know, right. You know, so someone who's foolish enough to think that this is the norm and this is cool and this is how young. No, man. why would you teach cats to be dignified?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? To clean their lives up. Or if they get a woman, respect their woman.
Right.
Why can't they do that? Why they just gotta be pimps?
Right.
You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So to me, I'm sort of suspect. I'm like, man, nigga, is you an agent? You know what I'm saying? If someone's just teaching this rhetoric,
right?
Are you working with these people?
Right.
Are you trying to get cats caught up in a trap or something?
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that they don't change these laws on pimping and pandering
Huh.
to human trafficking.
Yep.
Why you talking about pimping? Okay.
Right, because the human trafficking thing is real.
Yeah, it's not pimping and pandering. That's not on the book.
Yeah,
that was old school shit.
Yeah.
It's called human trafficking now. Yeah, where you get a football number if you get caught doing the shit what you talking about. Pimping. No, that's not that's not real right now. That's some outdated shit. You know. So yeah. So I would look at cats who's really spewing this rhetoric as suspect. Okay. Make me thinking you these peoples.
Like, what they call them now? 12.
Yeah, Adam 12. You know what I'm saying 5-0. Okay. So,
right.
So yeah, but it's real. It's real to me. You know, and I'm trying to live. I'm trying to be free. I ain't trying to be in nobody's, clutches, caught up in this web. I ain't trying to get caught up in Charlotte's web. You know what I mean? I'm trying to be free. You know what I'm saying? So I don't need, someone trying to misguide me.
Right.
Just, lead me on a path of,
But see, I think it's easier for someone like me or yourself because we're at advanced ages. But these youngsters that's coming up, they're hearing that they done seen all these old videos that's outdated and they think, oh, I could get it going right now. I'm listening to the One Trick Pony guy and he's telling me all this.
Right.
Maybe I got a chance.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So if you got somebody who's condoning this and saying this is cool and trying to portray this lifestyle as this is what it is, then yes, the youngsters are going to be, amazed by it. Especially if they see you riding good or dressed good and you talking that talk, then they're going to be like, well, okay, this is what I need to do. Instead of me getting an education or trying to be a doctor or a lawyer or a mayor or a governor or like a state's attorney, like my man Keith Ellison, you know what I'm saying?
Or driving the woman I have to go to school and go to college and flourish her career or whatever.
Oh yeah, having a respectable woman.
Right.
She might give birth to my child and, have her clean her, or she can be a respectable housewoman. A woman that takes care of home. Your house is clean. She know how to cook. Clean. She takes care of the children. Cause that's the way I raised my queen, which I called her, my queen. While I was out in these streets, the mother of my children held it down. You know what I'm saying? So I made sure, that the children was fed, they was clothed, it was housed. That was my responsibility.
Yeah.
While she held it down. That was the queen. So she wasn't no less than, the next woman, because she was basically the one that was my right hand.
Yeah.
Taking care of the family. So that's not a degrading title, or just because you're a housewoman, you're a domestic wife. In a sense. No, that's a good title.
And I say it like this. All what we're saying, whoever's life is what they are, what they actually was within them and how they're living it, not putting no knock on nobody that's, living their life the way they're living it. I'm talking about the people that, this really not their bad. They're undeciphered and don't know which way they need to go in life. These people that's promoting this, like you said, it's not pimping and pandering no more. It's human trafficking. You facing all kind of other kind of stripes. Yeah.
So Cass, if you're gonna talk the talk, basically, man, walk the walk. Because this shit's real. Yeah. It ain't no joke.
Especially I look at the person that's professing this, like you said, if you ain't got no hoes, you ain't pimping.
You ain't no pimp. Right, because a pimp have prostitutes.
Right.
Okay, right. And it's put in its proper content. A prostitute is one who solicits herself for profit. You know what I'm saying? Sells sex, whatever. For a profit. That's a prostitute. So a pimp is one who makes a profit off of someone soliciting themselves. Okay, so if you're not doing that, you know what I'm saying? If you, like I said, if you bagging groceries or, you got your shine box or you whatever.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You washing dishes, you're a bus boy. You washing dishes, you're a bus boy. You bagging groceries, you're a bag boy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if you ain't got no hoes, you're not pimping. I'm just, make that clear. You know,
Yeah,
so
I guess they figure, well, you know, back in '82, you know, I was doing it.
You know, I tell you, this ain't '82, man. I figure, you know, stay in school and don't be no fool. You know?
Exactly.
That's the best advice I can give you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I ain't gonna tell you to go pimp. You know what I'm saying? You're pimping your own mind. Elevate yourself. You know, in the society to be all you can be.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Be, you know, a police chief, a fire, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Be an asset to your community.
Right.
You know, don't become detrimental to it.
Mm-hmm.
You're the opposition, you're the villain, and you got police, the feds, and everybody looking for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? No, just be a part of this and take over our community and be productive, and
Well, my guy said, Double R, who appears on here sometimes, he says, he's like, really think back and think. In our town here, where have you, I mean, in today's age, where have you actually seen a pimp pimping? Where have you seen that? You haven't seen that because it's not going on. You don't even see no. Yeah, like in today's time, you don't see that.
Well, nah, it ain't happening.
Yeah,
I was, I can be a witness to that because I know there was reputable players and pimps in this city.
Yeah.
When I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I said when I was a kid, and that was in the '70s.
Right.
Okay. When I was 5 or 6, I used to be with my uncles at the little pool hall.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I can just name a few. Sonny's on Chicago was a real popular one with a lot of, known players. Cats and I can remember Hiawatha, or Cadillac, cats of that nature. It was them, players back in Memphis or whatnot, and jerseys. And,
Yep. I remember jerseys.
Champions and the Midtown, just Moby Dick's or
Moby
Pool Hall downtown, man.
Right.
Yeah, just places of that nature. And I was just a kid, see? And I was around these type of people,
right?
Where it was that type of talk going on. It was about bitches and hoes, and niggas was really pimping. In the '80s, when I jumped off the porch, what I'm saying, at 12 or 13 or 14, I was downtown, and the pool halls, sneaking in all the XXX joints.
Yeah.
This is when it was sweet. Minneapolis was sweet down there, what I'm saying? Before the crack era. And I seen a lot of cats with women and just doing their thing, And women was out there, or I would go in the little doll houses. They had doll houses, the little sex joints.
Yeah.
I've seen all that. That's when I knew this shit was up and running. These were somebody's women. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It wasn't just working for themselves. They had some man or some nigga or somebody on the side.
Right.
Pimp, player, hustler, Mac, whatever they call themselves. That was they missions. You know what I'm saying? So I seen it, and it's tight. So I guess when I came of age in the '90s, oh yeah, when I got my feet wet, that's when I was like, well, damn. When I got me a girl that I said, do this and do that, and she did everything I asked her to do, it just dawned, it just clicked. I was like, well, if I can get one to do it, I can get 10 of them to do it. That was my attitude.
Yeah.
So I started pimping. That's when I started my era, my life of pimping, just from that thought. That was in 1990 to be exact. You feel me? Right. You know what I'm saying? Because I had a girl that did everything I told her to do, and I said, well, I'm going to get 4, 5 more to do it. It's just what I'm telling her to do. And that was my attitude. I didn't get no job.
Right.
But I was a little hustler. I was on a grind.
Right.
I did my little thing. I was a hoodlum. I did what I did. So I grew into what was already in me, I was bringing out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I brought it out of me. You know what I'm saying? So by 95, 96, oh man, I was part of the pimp clinic.
Right.
Straight up. You know what I'm saying? It was for real. You know what I'm saying? It was all, cash on the dash. You know what I'm saying? Purse first, ass last. You know what I'm saying? It was real. You know what I'm saying?
Now, we done had Anthony chime in. He said, I can relate to what you're saying, Rychus. And he said, early exposure.
Right.
Dig.
Right. Real talk. And that's where it starts. It starts when you're a youngster. You know what I'm saying? When you're a little grasshopper, so to speak. When you're knee high to a mosquito beetle.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you just start seeing things and you just grow into it. You know what I'm saying? In other words, you become a product of your environment.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You know, and what you see, if you lived in a crack house, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Either you're gonna succumb to that, you're gonna be victimized by it, or you're gonna succumb to it and be like, well, okay, I'm gonna overcome this. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna capitalize off of this shit. I'm not gonna become a victim of it, like maybe my aunties or my sisters or whatnot. I see them, you know, being victimized by it. Well, I'm gonna capitalize off, and that's from being raised in certain environments. That was me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that was me being in these type of environments. Instead of me seeing myself as a victim of it, I learned to capitalize off of my situation.
Yeah.
That was on all levels. That what made me, you know, and not to brag, as raw as I was, you know what I'm saying? And I was, you know, and I was clocking dope because I had to learn, like, it was a survival thing. It wasn't just
glamour.
Yeah, it wasn't about fame.
Look at me. Yeah, fame. No, it's about getting the money.
About getting some money, man, and surviving. So I can have I like the finer thing. So basically, I wasn't cut from the type of cloth where I just don't want nothing out of life. You know, I want the finer things, the better things out of life. So therefore, me thinking like that. So if I think that about myself, then I'm gonna expect that from my partner, my woman, my homeboy, or people I associate.
Yeah, that's within your circle.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna want the same for my brothers I want for myself. See what I'm saying? That was my mindset. So basically, you know, being in certain environments. So when I looked at my nieces and my nephews, so I'm like, well, they're not aware, basically fully aware of what's happening, you know, or the situation, because they're too young to comprehend.
Yeah.
They say, well, this is mama, or this is, you know, my uncle, and this is what we're going, this is how we're living. So they think this is the norms. So somebody else with a higher intelligence or understanding of the situation had to come along and say, no, this is not the norm. So I had to make the situation better. I had to show them a flip side of that. You feel what I'm saying? Instead of you just seeing your mom and your dad or somebody just living a certain way, and you just being victimized.
Right.
So you feel what I'm saying? So yeah, that was bestowed upon me. I was like, okay, well, while they acting a fool, I gotta take charge of this situation.
Right.
And that's what I did. So I made sure my nephews and nieces ate. You know, while they selling all the food, you know, to get a hit or whatever.
Yeah.
I made sure they had boots, shoes, and so basically, I took charge of that situation, or you know, in my environment, and I was basically like, well, I'm gonna capitalize off it. If anybody gonna get the money, it shouldn't go outside the house. It should stay inside the house. So that's the way I, you know, evolved into that. You know what I'm saying? And made sure things were right. So as time went on, I became sort of like the dawn or the head of the family.
Yeah.
Because of what I just basically evolved into. You feel what I'm saying? And it wasn't by choice. It was by circumstances.
Yeah.
You feel me? So that's what made it real to me. You know what I'm saying? Where it's time I had to do the organizing and bringing the family together and taking everybody out to eat it. You know what I'm saying? That's like the head, like the dawn. You know what I'm saying? And it was just bestowed upon me, man. And that's why I'm the individual that I am now. You know what I'm saying? And I try to give back, not only to my immediate family, but to the community.
Right.
To, you know, these youngsters, you know, it's like this third generation who I don't watch grown up, you know, from the last 3 decades. You know what I'm saying? You know, like I said, when I was 25, they was babies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They was just babies. You know what I'm saying? So now they out here. So somebody gotta, you know, take a lead. You know, somebody got to take a stand and say, hey, pull the youngsters to the side, breathe on them, tell them something that they may not know, may not understand.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And they will listen if you come to them the right way.
Right.
If you coming at them sideways and on some prideful, boastful shit and thinking you this, that, and that, oh man, you know, they ain't gonna, they might shoot you down. You know what I'm saying? They might literally just be like, man, we ain't trying to hear that shit you talking about.
But definitely, like I said, don't hurt them and lead them astray with all this fairy tale what happened yesterday, and you think you're gonna do it today.
You gotta come with the real. You know, with these youngsters now, they don't want no milk toast, watered down, nothing. They don't want no fairy tale. They don't want to hear about Jack and Jill and none of that. Okay,
right?
You know, they want to hear the real, and that's where you got to come. So if they compete, they got sense. They can see the real from the fake. You know what I'm saying? So if you real, they'll respect you. Yeah, and I know this because I'm out there. I'm out there amongst them young bulls, young wolves. You know what I mean? Yeah. So then they see me. You know, they have respect for me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You don't having a lot of people said 100 and right on. And Larry said a traditional one. They always say it got to be in you, not on you.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. Definitely, it's definitely got to be in you, man. You know, like I said, you can't wear this shit like a football, basketball jersey, man.
And then he just said they want facts. Most definitely, everybody wants facts. You don't want the stuff that's left out, like, oh, but you didn't say you did this. What about that? Don't that factor in an equation if you giving me some facts? That's like you're giving me half truths and mistruths and misbeliefs and things like that.
Man, this breeze feel good.
Yeah, it do.
How does it been around?
Right.
This breeze feel good. Yeah, I had to take me a little nap earlier.
So I know y'all been digging what Rychus been laying down. He's just speaking his life story. You know, that's the most realest you can get to me. He's speaking what he's experiencing and kicking it from his heart.
Read and watched the movie.
Right.
No, man.
Read some verses out of someone's book or something like that.
Yeah, I ain't quoting no more. Pimp quotes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I actually lived this life, man, for real. And man, you know, and been around the best of them. You know, been around the best of players, man. Like, you know, a man was, putting, our man, his name in the equation. You know, Ken, Pimpin' Ken. He's infamous. You know, if you know his history or know his story, you know, he got videos out there. He'll tell you, and the one his documentary, Pimps Up, Hoes Down, you know, tells a lot about the life. You know what I'm saying? And these players, you know, but it's just like.
But this is what I want you to expand on. A lot of people don't know, like you said, when you said Moby Dix, that played a big part. Minnesota played a big part when it came to game back in the 80s and stuff. A lot of people don't really, speak on that.
Right.
Hold on, let me intermission, y'all.
Go ahead. No, I ain't going. Go ahead.
Okay, we back.
Okay, what you say now?
No, how Minnesota played a big part when it came to the particular life. You know, when you bring up Moby Dix and all the little
them little spots
down that way down.
Well, it wasn't. You said they played a part in gangbanging?
No, I'm saying it played a part
in the development.
Yeah, in the development.
Most definitely. Yeah. Now, like a lot of the players, those were the spots. A lot of the hustlers, the pool sharks.
Yeah.
You know, and the Max. Like I said, the hustlers and the pimps.
Right.
These were the places where everybody hung out at. Okay? Right. So I didn't fully understand that as a youngster because I was with my uncle. Right. He was a hustler.
Yeah.
He was a pool shark. See, he taught me how to hustle at the ripe old age of 5. Real talk. Yeah, my mama knew it because my mama was a hustler.
Okay.
See, that's what I'm saying. I know what I'm made of is because of what I'm the product of my mother and my father.
Yeah.
Papa was a Rolling Stone. Okay. So I knew I was, once I started to roll, when I got into the game, I knew one thing. I was born to roll.
Right.
Because, you know what I'm saying? Because just the way I moved, I knew this is how my mother and my father moved. You know what I'm saying? At one point in their life.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because they wasn't really in my life like the Huxtables. Cliff and Claire Huxtable. You know what I'm saying? And why I ain't know none of that.
Yeah.
It was somewhat like I could relate more to the good times.
Okay.
Yeah. To the Evans. You feel me? So somewhat, but not even that. But it's just like my grandmother raised me. And then she didn't really raise me. My uncle really, took me under his wing and gave me the game. Just like get you some money.
Yeah.
Okay. And that was at 5. Yeah, and my uncle's 10 years older than me. He out in Detroit, Michigan. And, he'll take him to tell you the stories about me. You know what I'm saying? He was like, man, he said I was smart, you know what I'm saying? And I was quiet. He said I never would tell. That's one thing he liked about me. My grandma, his mother. I would never, but my sister, she would always tell stuff. But he was like, you would never tell. And it's like if I send you on a mission and you knew just what to do. And that nature, you know what I'm saying? So he was bringing out something that was already in me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that was how to hustle. How to, go get something, make it happen. And I got that just from the, coming up out of the west side of Chicago. This is where hustling started with me when I opened up the refrigerator and didn't see nothing but a stick of butter and a picture in there.
Mm.
Yeah, that's when hustling started for me. So I knew I had to eat that stick of butter. I was probably like 2 or 3 years old. I had to eat that stick of butter before somebody else ate it.
Mm.
That was hustling.
Okay.
That's where it started with me. Okay.
Right.
And my sisters be like, boy, you remember that? They remember when I ate it. When I was eating the stick of butter. Because there was nothing else to eat.
Right.
Mama was gone. Daddy was on his thing, you know. And it was just me and my sisters, you know. So it's real, man. It's real to me, you know.
Anthony said, flies on butter, real spill.
Right. Right. So, but yeah, so Minnesota's got a lot of game, man. A lot of cats know a lot of cross-country players used to come here and get girls.
Yeah.
We got a lot of Norwegians here. Got blondes that is.
Yeah, you're right.
To get girls and take them back to their respectable areas. Yeah, you know. And it's still good. Minnesota is still good as far as getting women.
Right.
But you got to be in 90% of the game is position. You got to be in the right position. You know what I'm saying? The other 10% is, you know, execution. Okay? You know what I'm saying? It used to be the other way around.
Right.
But now you got to be in a position to get this money, to get these women. They ain't going to just fall for anything. Because there's too much sucker shit going on. There's too much bullshit going on out here. Pardon my English. But it's like, they know it's too much clown shit, I would say.
Yeah.
You know, got these,
real clowns.
A whole bunch of clowns running around.
Right.
You got these niggas running around here, you know, with their pants down to their ankles. You know, they wild, obnoxious, and they ain't got a clue. You know what I'm saying? So, naturally, so that the women, all women, not just white women, they looking at us like, what's wrong with these niggas? These niggas ain't got no sense. They're arguing. Women are loud and obnoxious. They don't know how to, you know, have a decent conversation. They disrespectful. They don't know how to respect their men. You know,
Anthony said facts, King Rychus.
So it's just too much, you know, madness going around, not in the black community in particular. You know, so it's just like, you know, once we raise that level of consciousness and then we show them, you know, some dignified, you know, just that we can be civilized.
Right.
Oh yeah. You putting yourself in position to be chosen, man. Right? You feel me? Right? You know, that's game. That's a little bit game for you right there, man. You can just be civilized around this motherfucker.
Right.
Man, you might come up on $1 million, you know, lick, man, for real. Just by being civilized.
Right.
They don't see so much sucker shit and madness around here. You know, they like, man, we ain't fucking with them niggas. You know what I'm saying?
Now you done had some people come in, Lisa Smith came in and said, hi, y'all. And then,
yeah, I hate to be so blunt, but man, you know, that's just me speaking out of passion, man, because I just see so much of it.
Okay, now, Lisa Smith came in and said, can Rychus speak on how he met Ken?
Oh, man. I met Ken, boy, that was, oh, man, this is how cold it was, how I met Ken, man. It was so smooth. It's like I knew Ken. It's like me and Ken was crossing paths and we was in the same circle. I knew Ken, but I never did really speak to him. Because I was in my lane. You know what I'm saying? We was on the same page. You know, Ken was messing with a partner of mine. His name was Tight Daddy. That's the cat that came in.
That came in, yeah.
He was messing with, yeah, well actually, no, I met Ken before Tight Daddy because I met Ken down at Augie's. Okay. This is how we literally met. But Pete, I knew some of Ken's people from Milwaukee. Okay. That used to always tell me about Ken when I was a D-boy, when I was deep in the game. I was on my they used to always tell me about Ken and this pimps up, hoes down video he made and all this. You know, so I was like, yo, man, I ain't tripping off all that. I got just as much money as them. That's why I used to be like, man, I ain't tripping on all these pimp niggas, man. I got more money, just as much money as them. And which I was, because I was a D-boy. So anyway, my man, my man I'm talking about, his name was Tyrone Jackson. You know, he doing a little bit for being, you know, silly. Yeah. And but he grew up with Ken. Okay. He's from Milwaukee. They all went to school together. Me and Ken was chopping it up about this. Yeah. You know, he know him. But he was like, yeah, man, Ken and JD and all these guys used to be on it, you know, this, that, and other. He's always telling me about Ken, but I would never pay no attention to him. But every time I would go to his house, he always had that video on. Pimps up, hoes down. Yeah, yeah. And I used to watch, I'm like, and I'm looking at Ken, on the video, and I started to admire his style.
Yeah.
Right? I admired his style because I'm like, Ken is different than a lot. Than Don Juan, and he had a different type of style to him, and I started to really become, attracted to his style.
Yeah.
But actually, then I met Ken down at Augie's. One time I was down there. He was selling his DVD. And I was like, hey, what's up? He was sitting at the table, walked up to him and said, what's up, man? This, that, and other. Spoke to him, and he showed me his DVD. That's when I bought a DVD from him. That's how I met him. And then I told Tyke that Ken was here.
Yeah.
And then Tyke started talking to him. So, because Tyke wanted to do some music or something with him. So they started hooking up. But Tyke was already my guy. So Ken used to always be at Tyke's house when I would come through.
Okay.
I always come through. Ken would be there and whatever. But I come to handle some other business. I wasn't coming to talk about no pimping and no videos and none of that, man. I was on some G shit, right? Okay. I slide through Ken to be over there, and he know this. And, we be like, what's up? You'd be like, hi and bye. We always cross paths. And so then when we really hooked up, it was one time I had called him. I had his book, or I got his number off the DVD, and I had called him, and then we got to chopping it up. You know what I'm saying? And then we started to backtrack about how we knew each other. And I told him, yeah, I know you through Type Dad. I met you, right? And that's how we met. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that's how we, really started chopping, because he knew my man. and we've been cool ever since.
Okay.
Like that.
Yeah.
Right,
That's how it be.
So basically I met him just, in the life. Being in my lane, we crossed paths. We met at the crossroads. Right. That's how I met him. It's real. Yeah. You feel me? We met in the field. He was on his grind. I was on my grind. And we still chop it up to this day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Me and Ken, was chopping it up the other night for 3 hours.
Yeah. I done had them kind of sessions with him.
Right.
You get like that. But it be on some real heavy stuff. There ain't no hollow.
Ain't no
nothing kind of talking.
Yeah, ain't
be some real deal.
Like one time Pony talking about just pimp, pimp.
Right.
No, we on some other, we on the next level of the game. That's where we at. You know what I'm saying? There ain't no pimping and hoes and bitches. No, we don't talk like you. We talking about some other stuff. You know what I'm saying? History, politics, religion. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of stuff we be talking
What's going on with our people across this country. All kind of stuff.
See, and then one of his closest comrades, the brother named Khalid Abdul Muhammad, he tells me his story about how he met him, how they was real tight. Right. And I was like, man, you know how me and Khalid met? See, this is how we get to talking. I met Khalid back in 1991 when he came to the University of Minnesota. And for y'all that don't know, Khalid Abdul Muhammad, may he rest in peace. He was an activist. He was a member of the Nation of Islam. He was a national spokesman for the Minister Louis Farrakhan. You know what I'm saying? Actually, he's the third since the Nation of Islam been in existence. This is how powerful this man was. To give y'all a little history on him. Khalid Abdul Muhammad was the third national spokesman out of any minister in the Nation of Islam. That's from since it was founded by Farrar. Elijah Muhammad was the messenger. He was the head. Malcolm X was the first national spokesman. Okay? Yeah. Malcolm X to Elijah Muhammad. See, now Elijah Muhammad's the leader of the nation. Okay? But he had spokespeople. Yeah. So a lot of people don't know this. A lot of people think Malcolm X was this and Farrakhan. No, man. Elijah Muhammad's the leader of the nation. So let me make that clear. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So Malcolm X was the first national spokesman of the nation. That's why he's so known. See, because they had their little rift and whatnot. If you want to know the history, go get, the books. It's out there. All the information is there. Right. After Malcolm passed, Minister Louis X, his name, he was Louis X at the time, which is known as Farrakhan. He became the national spokesman. He was the second national spokesman for Elijah Muhammad. He's the one that rebuilt the nation, okay? Once he rebuilt the nation, he became, he became the leader, or he was sitting in the seat of Elijah Muhammad. But he represents Elijah. It's not the Louis Farrakhan Nation of Islam. Elijah Muhammad's the head, which he's the face of the nation. They would tell you that. And Khalid Abdul Muhammad was the national spokesman for Minister Louis Farrakhan. So he was very outspoken. He was very down to earth. He could relate to niggas like me. And I was gang banging. I was gang affiliated and all that. You know what I'm saying? And he could reach me You know what I'm saying? Because I was loped out. And I became real close to Khaled. Came real close to him, you know, and he helped elevate my level of consciousness for me just thinking, you ain't my set, you ain't my friend. You know what I'm saying? If I don't know you ain't wearing my colors or you ain't got the blue flag, we ain't cool. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He elevated my level of consciousness. You know what I'm saying? So me and Ken was chopping it up about him and how close we were to him. See, that's big pimping. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
A revolutionary. This man became the chairman of the new Black Panther Party. Y'all know the history of the Black Panther Party? Go check the archives. Go look at it. You know what I'm saying? He became the chairman of the new Black Panther Party. You know, Khalid Abdul Muhammad. That's how raw he was. So.
Yeah, so right there, with you just speaking on these different areas, that's blowing that one-trick pony stuff out the waters.
Man, that's elementary school. Man, that's like that's grade school shit to me. What he talking about?
Right.
Real talk. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we on a whole nother level, man. Yeah, it's professional level. Now we ain't on.
So the title of king for your Rychus is befitting. You know.
Right. Yeah, that's what that means. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm on top of my grand game. I ain't trying to, you know. I ain't on the bottom of it. I'm trying to be on the top of it. You
right.
Know what I mean? Like I said, crown me, don't down me. You know what I'm saying? Right. So yeah, man. So it's real out here. It's real in the field. You know?
Okay, y'all. What's going on? I know y'all been kicking back and listening to Rychus, you know, do his thing. But you know, throw up some comments if you want. You know.
So did I answer your question?
Yeah. Did Rychus did he answer you? Okay. Oh, okay. She came back. She said, "How do you feel about people leading this generation?"
People leading this generation.
We kind of covered that a little bit.
Yeah, we don't really
into the path of destruction.
Yeah. Then we ain't really got no real leaders, man. I gotta say that. You know, we ain't got no real so-called leaders. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you can join an organization or, you know, a religious or faith-based denomination, whatever, and be a part of that. But that don't necessarily qualify you as a leader. You know what I mean? Because everybody's not following the pastors. They ain't following the ministers. Right. I know this. You know what I'm saying? They ain't right. They in the streets. You know what I'm saying? We got so-called community leaders. You know what I'm saying? Around here saying this, that, and the other, or whatever. Black Lives Matters or Stop Jesus Love You or something.
Right.
But that ain't changing nothing.
Right.
You feel me? The reality of that is that's not changing the reality of our condition as a people. You see what I'm saying? So we don't have any true leaders anymore. And I said the last of the real leaders, you know what I'm saying, is was King. King was a real leader. Malcolm X when he came out the nation. See, because these were the reason I say it, gotta keep this in perspective so people don't get it twisted. These were religious organizations. See what I'm saying? So if you're a leader, if you represent Muslim or your Southern Christian Leadership you representing you know, this organization.
Yeah.
You feel me? So that don't necessarily mean everybody else. And they proved that after they assassinated King and Malcolm. That they were just individuals. They was mortals. Individuals just like everybody else. They had a belief, they had a faith-based system. You know, King was a Christian, Malcolm was a Muslim. He formed an organization, an African American Youth. He became a nationalist. You know what I'm saying? So you had Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale, these cats formed the Black Panther, the Sons, which they called themselves the Sons of Malcolm. You had the Black Liberation Army. You know, all these different organizations that was militant.
Right.
They were the Sons of Malcolm. See, his ideology. So I made him a leader. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
King, Southern Christian Leadership Conference. He led all these marches and sit-ins, and he was a leader.
Right.
You feel me? You got cats that just preaching and talking that talk, but ain't walking the walk. You ain't really no leader. You know what I'm saying? Right. So if you just talking this, but you ain't really got no mass movement. You feel what I'm saying? A grassroots movement, you're not a leader. You're just an individual who's, you know, has a certain perspective on certain things. You know, and we got a lot of that around here in Minnesota. I know a lot of them cats. You feel me? For real. You know, I don't consider myself no leader. But I know I can reach, I can teach people. I can teach you what I know. Yeah. But I'm not trying to lead you nowhere. I'm not going to have you marching down Hennepin and sitting on and laying on railroad tracks and all that. Man. That ain't my objective.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what they was doing when And that brother got
Yeah,
shot.
when that brother got shot.
I heard they was down there laying on the railroad tracks and getting knocked upside the head. No, I don't believe in that. That's not, that's not,
Now Larry said well spoken, and then
philosophy.
Lisa said yes, he answered my question.
All right. Glad I was able
And then she said, I see he's the real deal. Saying you're the real deal.
Thanks. Thanks. I'm just basically, I'm just true to the game first. I've always been true to myself. You know what I'm saying? And that's what makes me, I guess you could say, real to what's going on around me, because I'm true to who I am. And that's a black man first. You know what I'm saying? I ain't can't deny that. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if I got native this in my blood, but I'm a black man in the eyes of this society.
Right.
Okay? So that's first and foremost. You know what I'm saying? And I live my life accordingly as such. You know what I'm saying? I know there's, places in the society, that we can't go. We can say like we free and we can just move around the society, but these folks really, they don't like us, and it's like what was, it still is. It's just more on the cover. And just like what people were saying about Trump, like Trump is making, is dividing America. No, he's not. This country's been divided.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
true.
You check this, there was a report back in the day, I think it was in the 80s, called by the Kerner Commission, that we had two societies, one black, one white, separate and unequal. You know what I'm saying? And they did a report on this, So it's not the presidents and these people in office that's divided. It's a mindset that's been in this country for the last 400 years. They never wanted to integrate with them. They still don't to this day.
Right.
And they showing it. Now they're just able to express themselves more because they got a open racist or an unconscious racist. He don't claim he's racist, but he's racist. He's the unconscious type of racist. You know what I'm saying? Where he feel he's privileged because he is white. You know what I'm saying? So they want to corner the market as far as who can come to this country and who can't, who can be in this country and who can't be in this country because they're white. You know what I'm saying? Because they're Europeans.
It kind of made me think it made me think back when you was talking about integration and they didn't want to integrate. Well, they also didn't want people to elevate. And when I say that, I think about, Black Wall Street, how, that was thriving and they bombed that out, back in the day. Or I think about when Mr. Farrakhan was supposed to get the money from Gaddafi, they put a kibosh on that right there.
Hold on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, is it? But yeah, that's just the surface. It's deeper than that. It's right. There was towns. We had towns across America that blacks were thriving and doing well. That's because we were segregated.
Right.
You study segregation. We had our own businesses, and all in different towns,
right,
throughout America. Blacks wasn't tripping by not being with white folks,
right,
because we had our own hotels and gas stations. We had just as much stuff as they had, not just Black Wall Street. Right.
You're true.
Yeah. So
I was just saying one particular one that was thriving and big in the area.
You heard about Rosewood?
Yeah, Rosewood, or how Detroit was and everything. Yeah.
So blacks had. I get it twisted. That's coming up from Reconstruction. Yeah, we migrated to these cities and we worked hard and we built up our communities, and where slaves were segregated. What happened was once they during that movement, that civil rights movement, when they assassinated King. See, because they always pumped out nonviolence, how nonviolent King was. Then they realized, you see, after they assassinated King, here was a man that was nonviolent, fight for civil rights, equality, whatever, and when they assassinated him, killed him, 50-something cities went up in smoke in America.
I heard about that.
Then they realized, and then all that stuff they was doing to blacks down there in Alabama and Mississippi, them niggas was getting retaliated. Then they realized that niggas wasn't so non-violent after all.
Right.
Okay.
They're not really docile.
No. Then that's when they sent in the troops. Not to, protect blacks, from Klan members. No, because blacks was defending themselves. They was getting the best of these crackers. So they had to send in the troops. So that showed the hypocrisy of America. You know, after these night riders and these Klansmen was lynching us and burning our homes and bombing our churches and hanging us up from trees and all that.
Strange fruit type of
And
situation.
they talking about we turning the cheek and we marching and sitting in and wailing in. But then when they saw we rose up to retaliate and was getting the best of these crackers, then they sent in the troops. So that's just going to show you the hypocrisy of America. You see? So yeah, we always was thriving, man, and had, you know, but they always strive to shut it down.
Yeah, I know. Y'all been getting an earful, you know.
You know, to shut us down, to keep us as second-class citizens.
True.
You know, that's what they been working to do. So after, you know, the uprising, they had to flush us into the system. They didn't have no choice.
Right.
See what I'm saying? Because that's when what they call white flight. You know, they took white flight when blacks was moving to these cities. The whites, you know, took their businesses and they moved out to the suburbs. You know what I'm saying?
But see, now we're seeing a reversal. It's called gentrification now.
Right.
They coming back.
They want the cities back.
They want the cities all back.
They're moving us out to the suburbs.
Yeah.
And then moving white folks back in so it can be closer to downtown. You know? So, but, you know, our time is coming. You know, basically our time is now. You know, only thing blacks got to do, we got to wake up and realize that this is our time. And so we can we got to come together.
Right.
See, our strength is in our unity. It's not in the gun. It's not in all these, you know, politics and all. No, it's in our unity. Once we come together, then we're going to be able to form a force, a third political force. That's what we're going to be able to overcome, you know, the system, what we're going through right now. You know, this Republican and Democratic, because neither party, we're not getting no justice from either party. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's just, you know, we can see with all these police killings or whatever, even the Justice Department is not, you know, giving us justice.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
now Larry brought up something that I mean, I haven't seen it, but I don't know. I'm gonna ask you to see if you seen it. He said, "Did you see the Trayvon Martin story yesterday?"
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I heard about it though. I heard about yeah, what was that?
No,
okay. They made a little documentary on it.
Okay.
Yes, but you know, but hey man, there's so many Trayvon Martins out here, man.
Yeah.
For real. You know, that's just one they capitalizing off of now. You know, that story. You know, but hey, a brother just got killed up here. You know, by the police. We just had two in the last year.
Right.
Right? You know, so, you know, and the police got off, you know, and
what's the one that just recently happened?
That brother down in Florida?
Yeah. The dude scanning his ground because dude was tripping with his wife or whatever.
Yeah, he did attack him. You know, it's just like, you know, even though he was, you know, confronting her about the parking, even though I know he probably was picking, you know, looking for something, looking for trouble. But the brother came out the store and just pushed him. Yeah, you didn't see it?
I heard about it.
Yeah, he just came out because he was confronting. You know, he didn't. You know, he wasn't attacking her. I guess he was talking about the parking space.
Right.
But the brother walked because the video showed him walking out the store, and he just pushed him. So basically, that's like an attack. You know what I'm saying? But that's the way they're gonna see it. It's like, okay, he attacked him.
Yeah.
He pushed, attacked him. You know, I mean, because we can exchange words and be verbal, but once you put your hand, that's an assault.
Yeah.
That's what so that's what he did.
Now Larry came back and said, he said money got dude off the hook. Now, Larry, I'm gonna go into deeper than that. He said, are you talking about the Trayvon Martin situation? Because a lot of people don't know Trayvon Martin, or not Trayvon Martin, but the Zimmerman's father, he was a ex-Supreme Court judge.
Oh, yeah?
So, I mean,
okay.
Why you think he beat that? Because his father was, once sitting on the high court. So people don't factor that part in either.
But then again, it's like I look at it from a more militant perspective myself. Because I'm looking at it more like, okay, this man killed his little brother or whatever, and he got to go home and be with his wife. I don't know if he got kids. He got off scot free. So
right.
My thing, if we really want justice, Zimmerman shouldn't be nowhere. He shouldn't even be able to come out the house without watching over his shoulder. If he really wants some justice, just like he was stalking us, stalking the young Trayvon Martin, walking through his neighborhood, somebody should be stalking his ass the same way. Okay? Yeah, you shouldn't be able to walk around in peace
Right.
Without worrying about somebody knocking your head off your shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? That's
Right.
just my opinion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And right. And the new Black Panther Party did have a $10,000 bounty on his head after that. Yeah, so that was, in the beginning of the case and all that.
Case.
So, so I mean, that's really what it's gonna have to come down to. If these police officers, is shooting us and getting away with it, they shouldn't have to arrest. Only justice we're gonna get is, hey, you're gonna have to serve justice. An eye for an eye. I guess I believe in that law.
Yeah.
An eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. A life for a life.
Now Larry said, I guess he's talking about the stand your ground dude. He said they charged him with manslaughter.
Yeah, they charged him, but that don't necessarily mean he's gonna be charged guilty.
Right.
He's being charged just like all the police officers have been charged, but that don't necessarily mean he's gonna be convicted. You can be charged is one thing,
right,
but a conviction is another. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
To get a verdict, they charged the 4 officers that beat Rodney King too. And what happened to that? They got off.
Okay, Anthony said, all I know is the dispatcher told him not to follow Trayvon, but he did it anyway.
Yeah, we know all that, man. That's old news.
Then he said, I don't see how he ain't got touched yet.
Right.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where all the gangsters at.
Right.
Where all the gangsters and the killers and the, the mobsters at. In the hood.
Right. But what you bring that perfectly up, because you think that one little young brother that died in Florida, that Triple X or whatever, they gunned him down in the car. Now he got gunned down in the car and got money stole from him, but this man that took another person's life innocently, he's still walking around normal. I don't get that. Okay.
The dude in Florida?
Yeah, the little young dude that got gunned down. They found him in his Beamer or whatever at the stop sign or whatever. Okay. And they stole, whatever, how much he had on him, stole it from him.
So it was a robbery?
Yeah, it was a robbery.
Okay. Where's the security?
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. That's what I'm saying.
I'm just saying, where's the sense at?
Hey, man, you can't make sense of this shit.
True.
This is reality.
Yeah.
If you out here, but look at him. You look out. I mean, I didn't even know the cat until I heard about that.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I didn't even know nothing about, what was his name?
Triple X Stain or something like that. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't know nothing about this dude.
Yeah.
I mean, me personally, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, but you could look at him. He had tattoos all on his face.
Mm-hmm.
He dressed, I'm like, he looked like, he was a Martian or something. I don't know. Can't look like he just came from, planet Xenon or some shit.
Well, I'll just break it down like this. That's the problem.
Right.
A lot of these little young rappers, proclaiming all this stuff and doing this Facebook Live, showing these stacks and have their location, where they're going and everything, flashing this money and thinking people ain't on, and people that's hurting.
And it's easy to find you on Facebook. That Facebook actually points out your location. You know, it tells you exactly where you at. You know, you got the location. You know, that everywhere you move, it'll mention a certain spot where you at.
Right.
So nothing against them. I mean. I know anybody hate to lose a loved one, but I didn't know nothing about them. But it's just
I didn't either.
But if you got this status, like you said, if you got all this money and you stacks and you out here talking that talk, oh man, you better be able to walk the walk.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Real talk. That's it. I come from the era. I come from, I guess you say, a gangster era. You know what I'm saying? Where it was like, when we knew. It wasn't about calling the police. The police didn't solve our problems.
Right.
We solved it. We had funk, we dealt with it. You know what I'm saying? We rolled like, we was somebody that was important. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it was our leader, whatever. We had, so basically our entourage or our crew, or what you call a gang, that was our entourage. Yeah, we didn't go nowhere without the entourage.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, so the funk went down and you had the security. You feel me?
Right.
So, I don't know, that was just on the street level. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, And we know gangsters, you know, as far as that story, gangsters don't live that long. You know what I'm saying? We know about the Capones and all that. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, yeah, and I went through an era where the drive-by shootings and all that, you know, is real. So basically, it's just like, you know, if you out here, man, if you're gonna talk that talk, you better be able to walk it. You know what I'm saying?
Now we got Williams done came in and said, "What's up, fam?" And then I think it's Rush G said peace, and then Anthony said Facebook, aka Fedbook.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Anthony again said, "Right, King Righteous."
Yeah, a lot of cats telling themselves, man, on Facebook, man.
Right.
I be telling little shorties now, man, they be on there posting their little weeds, you know. I be like, come on, man. You know, you gotta chill. You gotta be smarter than that. And they be like, yeah, you right on. You know what I'm saying? So somebody gotta, you know, reach back to them. You know, somebody got, you know.
Or that's another thing. Let's go back to the basically one trick pony. They send these little youngsters thinking they could do anything. Or I'll send this message to this female on Facebook. You don't even know if that's a real person that you talking to, saying all kind of crazy stuff over the line about.
Yeah, that could be the police. You know, because that's how my man Snooki, you know, Snooki is. You know, Pimp.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you can be online and be texting and thinking you texting some woman, and it's the police. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, I think a lot of people don't. They just roll with the punches. Like, oh, you know, I got Snapchat, I got Instagram, I got, you know, all these little different things, and they see so many females, especially on Instagram, females posting up, you know, whatever kind of pictures, you know. I can say whatever to them, and that's really them. And, you talking about you're gonna meet them up somewhere, and you end up getting caught up in something that you wasn't ready to be caught up into.
Right.
No, it didn't cut out. It didn't cut out. Yeah, we took a brief intermission for a second. Lisa Smith's right. We still here. And I see there's 9 people in the room. Matter of fact, thanks for them 7 thumbs ups. Yeah, he do got a documentary. I haven't watched it, but I guess he got some documentary. I haven't seen it myself. So what y'all gotta say? What y'all gotta say is the numbers is fluctuating between 9 and 8 people in the room. We've been on 62 minutes. This is a pretty good amount of time. You got anything to add, Lisa Smith? Since it seemed like you're the only female in a chat room so far, listening to what King Righteous has to lay down of his lived truth. I don't know when you actually came in, but you know we kind of covered a lot. So if any of y'all missed when the live first started, you catch the replay and be able to catch up on everything we said. Yeah, it does seem like you're always the only female, and I know every now and then it's another female that comes in. But
where's she from?
Yeah, where are you from again? Lisa Smith, did you say Chattanooga, Tennessee or something like that? I want to say that's where you said. Okay, now I see it's some talking in between y'all's in this chat. Oh, you just missed old school. We went on briefly, but you know he had to cut out. You know. Okay, you said you're from Georgia, Lisa Smith. Y'all been guy.
Mm-hmm.
Lives in Chattanooga. She lives in Chattanooga now.
What's that, Tennessee?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I guess she said, yes, that's my mug shot. I guess someone asked her saying that she got her mug shot on one of her whatever.
Oh, okay. Yeah, man.
Oh, he said, have we been getting any rain? Well,
not really. Been get some sprinkles around here.
Right.
Not no rain. We need some.
Huh. Yeah, it's been kind of hot. Matter of fact, where I was at, you know, it was kind of hot down there too.
I like this little breeze though.
Yeah.
I'm outside.
Nice relief.
Yeah.
From the heat wave. Okay, Lisa Smith just said, how does King Rychus deal with beef?
I eat it.
Literally, figuratively.
Yeah, I eat it. Yeah, I like smash burgers, man. They got the best beef out here. For real. No, but on a serious note, what's beef?
Okay, you done heard him, Lisa Smith.
Yeah,
what's your comeback with
how
that?
you define this beef? You know what I'm saying? Beef. Biggie Small had a song called "What's Beef," right? I know I ain't got that kind of beef.
Yes, you get put a little emoji where she's crying, laughing.
Right.
Yeah, formulate your comeback.
Elaborate a little bit more, right?
Right.
Be a little bit more specific because there's different levels of beef. You got single patty, you got double stack, you got triple stack. You know what I'm saying? Right.
What's them old commercials from back in the 80s? Where's the beef?
Where's the beef? Right.
I don't see nothing.
The old Wendy's, yeah, that's the old Wendy's commercial.
Okay, Larry said, does Prince got a house down there? Yeah, he do. Matter of fact, one day I might have to film over where his house was over South Side.
Yeah,
where he was born, where he grew up
at.
He
went to Central High School.
Yeah. I might have to do that for y'all.
Did she respond?
Come on, Lisa Smith. Come on.
How you define, what do you mean by beef? Like street beef? Or, I mean, what? You have beef with your family.
Right,
So
true.
what exactly do you mean?
Maybe she's typing. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. Okay, she said, when someone threatens to call the police on you, knowing your situation.
Someone's there to call the police on you. No.
Well, you gotta elaborate even more than that. Okay. Yet they're talking crazy to you first.
Oh, okay. Well.
So basically, they talking real big, but
I don't know. Okay. Well, you said if you're asking me, I mean, like how I would deal with that type of situation.
Yeah.
Okay. How just certain way you just gotta deal with stuff. I don't know. I guess once you reach a certain, people deal with things and beef differently now. So I guess once you reach a certain age in life, you just learn how to deal with things on different levels. I mean, from my perspective. So I don't know. Like I said, I used to be wild when I was younger. I was, like I said, I was gang affiliated. Yeah, okay, so from that perspective, I would deal with things from that perspective. From a gangster mentality. You know what I'm saying? A thug mentality. You know what I'm saying? But once I matured and became a player, you know what I'm saying, and started dealing more, and not so much with, the gangsterism or the thug life, just to deal more with women and whatnot. Then if I had beef, I dealt with it more on a gentleman, I guess you say a gentleman type level, you know what I'm saying? Not so much just getting into some, but I let them be known, like, Okay, we can handle things like gentlemen, or we could be, diplomatic about it, or we can get into some gangsters.
Right.
I mean, so it's just, I guess you could say it's the level, the level of your thinking and where you at in life. You know what I mean? So because
Albert Jackson said you get away from them as soon as possible.
Right. You just gotta avoid certain situations so it don't escalate. I guess I guess I can say I had a situation some years ago. I said 2 or 3 years ago with a female I was dealing with, right, and her son, where he wanted to challenge me. He was a younger cat. Now what he was trying to do, he said he wanted to join a gang and he wanted to come deal with me, and I'm basically like, come on, youngster. You ain't got to join no gang to deal with. You know what I'm saying? So basically, that showed me the level of his mentality.
Okay.
That you're a rookie. You're a rookie at this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because if it was real funk, if it was real funk with me as far as beef, it would have been, fried. It would have been dealt with right then and there, But I knew it was elementary. It was some rookie stuff. So I had to deal with him on a more mature level, like let them know, like, this ain't what you want. That life ain't what you want.
Right.
There's something you think you want. So I had to basically be more of a father figure too. You know what I'm saying? But when he wanted it, I had to show him that, hey, I told you this wasn't what you wanted. That's what I'm saying. So it's different levels. You got to deal with different situations. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, one thing a lot of people, look at gang bangers or whatever in a negative sense, but they don't know that just youngsters being in those type of organizations, they really learning a form of defense. That's like a form of self-defense. You know what I'm saying? The only thing is they're using it for for criminal activities in this sense. You know what I'm saying? But I would say this as far as that's concerned. But what gangsters or gang bangers really do understand, one principle they do know is retaliation.
Yeah.
They know how to retaliate. You know what I'm saying? Whatever cause. You understand me? Now, if they use that in a more productive and a more political, way, then they'll be a lot more structured, and, be a lot more stronger because, now they have a level of defense for a purpose, for a cause, instead of just because.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So.
Now, William said sometimes you got to do what's best at the moment.
Yeah.
Choose wisely, though.
Right. Right. That's what I'm saying. Exactly. So. I don't know. So I guess I hope that answers.
And then she said, "Thank you."
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anybody else got some more questions you want to formulate to throw at King Rychus? Like I said, y'all just the ones that done came in on this. When they post, you'll be able to catch all the way from the beginning. Matter of fact, like I said, we're gonna actually have an actual video besides this live stream that goes up that you'll be able to catch, what we're talking about within there too, as well.
Right.
Okay. Lisa Smith said, King Rychus, how did you move out the life? Like, get out, I'm saying. How did you get out the life?
Well, it's just, you evolve. You don't really, I guess you don't really get out, so to speak. It ain't, you know what I'm saying? Once you're in, you in. What's in you is in you. Just learn to control and suppress, certain, types of attitudes and, behavior patterns, but it's there. You don't really get out.
Right.
It's there. You just live your life, in a, a respectable, manner.
So essentially, it's like you're a taxi cab that got the light that's off duty.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't get out. You are who you are. That's just like saying, ask Tiger if he want to change the stripes. How can you change the stripes? You can't. You know, a leopard, you know, take away his spots.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you are who you are.
Mm-hmm.
You're born to be, you know, what you was born to be.
Right.
You just got to learn who you are.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, as far as life, I'm living life. I just live in a more respectable manner. You know what I'm saying? Just certain things, it's just unnecessary for me. You know what I'm saying? So it's not so much just me. You know, when I was in other words, when I was a child, I thought like a child.
Right.
You know, when I was a teenager, I thought like a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
I got in my, you know, 20s or whatever. I thought as, you know, my 20s. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I thought I was in my second childhood. So, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you think, according, you know, not only to your age, but as your life struggle or development, you mature and you go through channels and trials and tribulations and whatnot, and you just adjust. You know, it's just certain things that you did when you were younger, or in your past life, you just don't do. You wouldn't do as you got older, or you wouldn't do now.
But to me, that brings in the fact, if you don't change and you don't evolve, that means you're stuck on.
Stagnant, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. So it's just like that doesn't take away from who you are.
Right.
It just means that you're growing and you're developing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're becoming a better person. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Just like now that I'm older, I mean, when I was young, I probably I want to argue with my girl a lot. I would argue with her if she did something that I didn't like or whatever. But now that I'm older, it's like, okay, I agree to disagree.
Right. Right.
So I ain't got to argue with you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's a dead issue.
Yeah, exactly. So that gives her more than me just arguing and acting a fool. That's because I've matured. See, so now I know how to deal with the situation on a more mature level. Then I'm not as immature. You feel me? So I was in situations and dealing with my girls. If I had multiple girls, I'm gonna put that out there, okay? Right. Not saying that I was pimping. No, just had multiple girls or a couple girls that liked me. You know, as a younger man, I didn't know how to deal with that. Okay? So if I got older and if I had a couple women that was like, okay, yeah, you know, we deal with it, or this is my man, or I deal with him on a certain level, I'm mature enough now to know how to deal with it.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? So it's not so much, y'all can say getting out the life, you know what I'm saying? It's just basically you maturing and being the man that you was born to be.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? Right. So
now she said, okay, cool.
Right.
And then Anthony came in and said, right, King Rychus. And then William said, you never get out. You learn how to use the tools you have.
Exactly. To survive. It's really survival. You know what I'm saying? I can tell the next man how to feed his family. You feel me? Now, if we lived in the bush in Africa somewhere, we're going to be out there hunting.
Right.
You know, trying to feed our family. You know, so.
And then Albert Jackson came and said, Mac Dre has a song where he says, get in the game, get rich, and get out. He says, I guess he was commenting on what you were saying, said that makes sense. And then William said, you learn how to play chess, strategy.
Yeah. That's right. So, you know, we younger, we probably played a lot of checkers.
Right.
We was probably hopping, you know, jumping and this one, that, and the other. But when you get older, you realize it's chess. It's not checker. It's a marathon. This game of life, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Okay? Yeah, and put it in that sense. So we still at it. You know what I'm saying? By us being older G, we still at this shit. It's a marathon. We ain't got to be sprinting. No, we going at our pace. Pacing ourselves.
Right.
And we still moving.
Yeah, because we've been walking this walk for a long time.
Right. So, you know, so that's why I look at it, man.
I just look at it like how, you know, little baby, you know, they be crawling, you know, then they get to walking, they get them legs, it be hard to catch a little toddler running because, you know, the muscles are developing and they getting the scooting. But once you know, get control of all that, yeah, you can run, you can walk, you change whatever kind of pace you can have, you know, whatever the moment calls for. Okay, William said it's not who makes the most, it's who lasts the longest.
Right.
Right, because, I mean, everybody got some, there's some people I feel that should have been here right with me, but, you know, their reign on earth wasn't long. I guess the Most High said, hey, I called your name. This the time you gotta leave. You know, you would have figured they'd been right here with you at the same time. But you know, some people's path is laid out different than your own. Oh,
Damn.
Larry said, I think you gotta use things as a stepping stone, but don't forget where you from.
Oh yeah. Yeah, most definitely.
So if nobody really got nothing else, we've been on 79 minutes.
Right.
Nobody got nothing else to say. We might wrap this one up, but I think in the earlier stages we cover, you know, about the one trick pony. You know, it's so much more than being that. You know, in things in life. You know,
life is so broad, man. It's a big world out here.
Right.
You know, it's like whatever you want out of life, man. Just, you know, shoot for the stars, man. It's yours. You know, it's like I tell my children. You know, it's a big world out here. Go get a piece of it.
Right.
You know?
Like I said, to all those people that want to challenge, I challenge you, and you could have the title of super pimp or whatever you want to be. You got that all day.
Super thug.
Yeah, super thug, pimp,
right.
Con man, whatever he is. You got
that title.
Right.
It ain't about fame.
Right.
We're trying to deal with a number. Not fame. We're trying to elevate our lives and our families. That's what it's about. So, you know, so I can say whatever you want out of life, just go for it, man. Because whatever the mind can perceive, you can achieve. Only if you believe. You gotta believe in yourself. Not about what somebody else thinks.
Right. Now Albert came in and said one trick pony, question mark, as in only doing one thing. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. One that only could profess one particular area of game. You know, game is bigger than, you know, whatever one given field, you know.
Right. Well, yeah, in other words, you know, game is deeper than just sending a woman.
Right.
It's deeper than that. You know, that's just the base level. You know what I'm saying? And matter of fact, nowadays women don't even need no nigga to send them.
Right.
They go do that shit themselves.
Yep.
Pardon my English. You know what I'm saying? They don't need no man to be like, oh man, that, you know. No, they can do that themselves.
Right.
That's been proven.
They got all the access to do that.
Everything. They got all the resources, the internet, and whatever they need. They don't need no man. So, you know, so that's one level of the game. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, if a man's, you know, dealing with a woman, you gotta be more like, you know, a psychologist. If anything, you gotta be more like a dream seller.
Right.
You know, you gotta get her to believe in you. You know what I'm saying? Because if it's all about that, just selling it herself, she don't need no man to do that. She can do that on her own.
Anthony said you gotta be versatile.
Yeah, you gotta be very versatile. You know.
Then Larry came in with the one track minded. Yeah, there's a lot of one track minded people out here, you know. That's the only given area they may know about or pretend to know about.
Right.
Versatility. Most definitely versatility. Okay, William said game is to be sold, not told.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah, well, ain't nothing wrong with. I mean, y'all's getting basically a count from King Rychus' life. You know, this is a count for you know, what he's been through. But I'll do it like this. You know, the time's ticking on. I'm glad y'all, you know, took the time out your life to, you know, come in and listen to this live stream. You know, hopefully the people that haven't, you know, that came in a little later, once it re-uploads, you can re-watch it again, the parts you missed, you know.
Yeah, I hope I was able to, you know, enlighten y'all on some things, you know, from my perspective. You know, I don't know everything, but I know a little something. So I'm glad, you know, to be able to share, you know, some words of wisdom or a little bit of knowledge, you know, with y'all.
Right.
You know.
And be looking out for the actual video that me and Rychus is about to put out. It'll be out maybe. I might wait till Friday to drop that actual video. Wait a minute. Tell Old School, Young and Tone said, "What's up?" Okay, yeah, I'll let old school know. You know, you've been wanting to come back and do it again and do something, but all right. I'm glad y'all took the time. Catch us again on live stream again. Yeah, peace and blessings to you, Anthony. We
Yes,
out.
man. Peace.